Hi, good afternoon. Erin Levi representing Mylan. We're opposed to the bill.
Moving back to the committee, any questions? Senator Berryhill.
Yeah, I do. I think this is a well-intentioned bill. Lord knows I've been through enough different medications with everything I've been through that I understand it's a very complex issue. Having said that, I do want to share with you some of my concerns. I want to start out by the veto message with your last bill. And I quote, CalPERS and other large purchasers warn that the requirement itself would cost out on the safety and desirability of most cost-effective alternatives to biologics. The FDA, which has jurisdiction for approving all drugs, has yet to determine what standards will be required for biosimilars to meet the higher threshold for interchangeability. That, for me, again, with some of the different medications that I've taken, and we've had these discussions in conferences here, there, and the other place, do you get the interchangeables? Are they as good as the originals? And there's huge savings that you can have in this whole thing. But I couldn't help, as I went through all this, I'm kind of disappointed to see so many opposed unless amended folks here. Have you addressed those amendments that they've asked for, and where are you going there, Senator?
Well, let me talk to you about that, if I could, Madam Chair.
Yes.
First, there's one biosimilar that has been approved. When the governor vetoed the bill 2 years ago, there was in the pipeline, but nothing had been approved. One biosimilar approved recently, 2 months ago. There are 4 now pending applications and approval, and 2 of them will be seeking interchangeability. So we will see something, could see something in the next, within this year that will fit this bill, and that's why the urgency of it. The opposition, they made a number of points, which I thought were interesting. One, and some of it I can't understand, frankly, is they say it's a barrier to access. It complicates the process of dispensing of drugs. How can it be a barrier to access if the reporting or the communication is, as the amendments show, within 5 days after the pharmacist receives the order and the prescription? So there's nothing beforehand where there has to be the physician wouldn't even know that there was going to be or could have been a substitution of that for a biosimilar. So the notification is, or the communication is after the fact, not before. The other part that they say complicates this, it's interesting that and that's why I have a hard time understanding it, because in 2012, Senator Hernandez had SB 1301, which the pharmacists supported, which would require them to communicate with the physician if they wanted to increase a prescription time period from 30 days to 90 days, and that would to allow for a 90-day prescription. They wanted, so when it was in their best interest to make the communication, they were certainly supportive of that. Also, Senate Bill 493 by Senator Hernandez, which was advanced practice pharmacists, if there was ever a change of prescription by the pharmacist, he had to communicate that with the doctor directly. Another communication that the pharmacists agreed to without any hesitation because it was in their best interest. So that's where it's troubling and kind of confusing to me why they would, when we were talking after the fact, and we're talking about a communication that is very limited because we're talking, as you know, about biologics that is not prescribed very frequently. So that's the challenge. We're working, and there is a national effort to, obviously, other states are looking at the same issue, and there's language in other states working on trying to develop some common language that would include the pharmacists and make them I guess, provide a little better comfort for them in this issue, and that we're still working on, and we'll continue to do that.
Would you say that you have taken care of liability concerns with these different companies in any of the amendments that you've thought about or that are on the table? I
would have to, in terms of liability, I think that has been resolved, and there weren't any liability questions 2 years ago with the bill. In fact, they were on opposite sides of the bill then, and we've come together around that as well. So liability, I'd let Jeff answer that.
I can just add that liability is one of the questions that comes up very frequently in the Pharmacy Act. It's very clear that liability is waived in SB 671. What I think, though, is important is to understand that when we manufacture medicines, we're accountable, and we have a safety department of physicians and nurses and others that are available to take phone calls from pharmacists, from physicians, and from patients. It's one of the ways that we're actually able to be accountable to the community that uses these medicines. So at the end of the day, the litmus test for this legislation is, will every physician, patient, and pharmacist using a biologic medicine be able to know who to pick up the phone and call? And if they call our friends at Sandoz and Novartis and it's their medicine, or if they call Amgen and it's our medicine, all the right things can start to happen. And so there should be no burden. We certainly want for no burden, but this. We have to make sure that every physician, patient, and pharmacist can pick up the phone and reach the right entity if there's an issue with a patient with one of these medicines. If that happens, we will have a much, much more successful biosimilar program, which is what those in opposition and those in support want. We all want the same thing. We want this program to work and to meet its societal objectives. For that to happen, though, people have to have the confidence to opt into this program, and patients have to have a positive experience. If those two things don't happen, we will not have the successful program that we all collectively want.
Yeah, Senator, I'd love to vote for this bill today, but as I look at it, I really see it as a work in progress, and you've shown in your career a willingness to do that. But that being said, I hate work in progresses because you never know. I don't know where this is, what committee this is going to after this, but all of a sudden, if you don't work with these folks and get all that opposition off, all of a sudden I've got to make a decision on the floor. So at least today, I'm gonna hold my vote back and see what happens with this thing, and if we can't work out some of the glitches in this thing to get everybody on the same page, because I think any time that we can save the kind of money that you're talking about, this is a good direction to be heading. And again, I hope to be on board this thing when it hits that floor.
Senator, if this bill doesn't get out this year, there won't be the savings this year.
Thank you.
Any other comments from committee members?
And just to answer the question, the bill goes to Health Committee next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Senator Gelsey.
I too have concerns that there are concerns from the Pharmacists Association, so forth, that I hope you will continue trying to work with them to address those issues, because I think they've offered some good suggestions. I think there's a way to work it out. I will support the bill today, but I do want to reserve my right. If those issues don't get worked out, I'm not so sure that I would vote for it again on the Senate floor, but I will support it today.
Are there any others? Senator Hill, I'm going to support it, and I think what's compelling to me is the fact that it's proactive. As we heard, there are a number of these coming forward to the market, and without a process, which you've outlined in your bill, then we would see these stalled and not available. The Health Committee probably can delve a little more into the safety issue and the communication issue. And I would hope between now and then you have more conversations around that, because I personally would hate to see it stalled over something on who gets noticed and how that is noticed. So I am prepared to support it today, but do hope you'll continue to work. And I know that you do that, Senator Hill, so that gives me more confidence.
Thank you,
So,
Senator Bates.
if there are no additional comments, do we have a motion? Moved. Call the roll.
Motion is due pass and refer to Health Committee. Hill?
Aye.
Hill, aye. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, aye. Berryhill? Block?
Aye.
Block, aye. Galgiani?
Aye.
Galgiani, aye. Hernandez?
Aye.
Hernandez, aye. Jackson? Aye. Jackson, aye. Mendoza? Wachowski? Aye. Wachowski, aye.
7 votes. And we'll hold the roll open. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Who are we missing? Well, we will open the rolls on those votes that we've taken. The consent calendar, please call the roll of absent members.
Berryhill?
Aye.
Berryhill, aye. Block?
Aye.
Block, aye. Jackson? Aye. Jackson, aye.
Out, what's the number?
9.
9. It's 9 votes. That bill is, the consent calendar is out. We'll move to item number 5, SB 560. Please call the roll of absent members.
Bates? Aye. Bates, aye. Jackson? Aye. Jackson, aye. It's 9.
Bill has 9 votes. That bill is out. We'll move now to item number 6, SB 561.
That was
Oh, that was my mistake.
7.
Number 7, block SB 620. Please call the roll of absent members.
Berryhill? Aye. Berryhill, aye.
That is 9 votes. That bill is out. Item number 8, SB 671. Please call the absent members.
Berryhill? Mendoza?
7-0. That bill is out. Item number 9, SB 763. Leno. Please call the absent members.
Bates? No. Bates, no. Block?
Aye.
Block, aye. Galgiani? Jackson? Aye. Jackson, aye. Mendoza?
5-2.
Yep, and that's it.
That bill has 5 votes, and that SB 763 is out. Senator Block.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just before you adjourn, when my bill was heard that we put off till next week, I talked to witnesses afterwards, and they're not able to be here next week, but the week after, so could we put that over 2 weeks?
Does that give it enough time to?
It's only singly referred.
Oh, single referred. Okay, very good. Absolutely, we will put that off for 2 weeks. And thank you, Senator Block. If there's no further business.
Senator Hill?
I'm sorry, Senator Bates.
Senator Mendoza did ask if you could leave the roll open. He had a meeting.
Oh, very good. I will hold the roll open.
Yes.
We just said out.
Very good. Thank you very much. We'll hold the roll open for Senator Mendoza. Thank you all.
I don't think we can. Yeah, okay. See you next week.